Oops. Hey everybody, welcome to the Dutchman's Wood Shack. I thought I'd do a quick update on the stuff I was working on. Okay, so as you can see, I've sanded it. I butchered it. Oh, um, this is the other piece of that, and two things I had issues with. One was there's something in this wood that I didn't know was in here. I don't know what it is, but it left white marks. Um, so what I usually do now is I wipe it off with tack cloth. But I got a question for you. How often do you change your tack cloth? Okay, so this one here, I can get it out, is getting there. But how many people cut these things in thirds? Do you leave them like this, or you cut them in thirds, or what? Because I think I'm gonna start doing that. Um, because I'm not sure it's getting all the dust, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm gonna wipe this one off here. I love this wood, but these two are being difficult. The second ones I did, for some reason, the first one I don't know. I don't know. I like the first one I did. Um, I don't know if I'm going to sell it or not. I kind of like the designs. Okay, so I'll show you something. Okay, so I wiped that off with that, right? Okay, one of the things I found out in these situations is tack cloths don't ever get everything there is. And I found that out once when I was doing a piece. I kept getting particles. I'm like, where's it? Because I was in a dust-free environment. So where is that coming from? And lo and behold, the tack cloth isn't picking anything up. It's not picking it all up. See? You see there's a light film on here. Okay, so basically, I actually do three things. Okay, so I did that, right? So that one's ready to go. Then there's this one. Now, I know this one's not perfect. It's still kind of porous. But again, CYA, cover your backside. CYB, I should say, cover your backside. Okay, so now I'll go with this again. Maybe. See the dust? Okay, so I don't know if these things are any good for one use. I mean, I use them, but I don't know why. Okay, so a couple of things that I do. Okay, so the third is I use my air hose. And a lot of times I'll go and I'll blow through here. When you do that, you got to be really careful though. You don't peel the wood. So I usually stand up here and just kind of dust it off before I do this. So it works that way. Okay, so now you can see the white stuff here. A little bit of white stuff here. For some reason, I can't figure out why it's doing that. But anyway, so that's clean and that's clean. I have a lot of this crepe paper stuff. This works out great. I get a roll of it. It lasts me quite a while for every project. I'm also doing models for my railroad in here, so it kind of helps me out. Okay, so I use white paper towels to do that on. Spread it. Now the other thing is too is I have these popsicle sticks. They're like popsicle sticks. You can get them. I think you might be able to get them at a dollar store, but you can order them online too. That's what I use. It's stir sticks. They're great. They work out great. I've actually used those for building bridges on my model railroad. Works out great. Okay, so now, as you know, if you're a carpenter, this stuff solidifies if it sits for any length of time. But every time you open it, every time you use it, you need to mix it. The only thing is you don't want to overmix it because you don't want bubbles in it. Then you got to let it set. Okay, because it gels up. So this one didn't look bad because I used it yesterday, so it was okay. If I let this set for a week or something, it usually gets kind of weird on the bottom. It gets gummy. But you want to, it's like stain. You want to mix it all up. You ever get a can of stain and when you go to take the first, if you just don't mix it, even if you shake it, I wouldn't recommend shaking it. I really wouldn't. Paint, wall paint and stuff, it's okay because you got to get the formulation all mixed up. You have to shake it. But I wouldn't, if you don't want to have bubbles, I would stir it, and I wouldn't stir it very much. If you don't want to have bubbles. Okay, so I'm gonna let that sit here, and I'm gonna take. If you don't want to get anything on your hands, it could be a sticky situation. So I'm always working on something goofy down here. I don't know what people want. I got a show coming up next month, and I figure out there's different designs than a regular bowl because they're just not selling. I guess people in the Midwest don't like to buy stuff in wood anymore. Okay, so now I did this. Now the idea with this mid-wax poly, it's the satin finish. And what I want to do is put on, I don't want to, standard, average coat on here. So I'm not worried about getting my fingers on it yet, but now we'll see what this looks like. Well, that's not bad. We'll see how it dries. Get everything. Now, I'll let that set a little bit. Now, I'm going to let it set a little bit, and then I'm going to wipe it off. Wipe on, wipe off. Now, a couple of things I do. If I'm doing a bark bowl, I just pull. I usually take out a bunch of this, pour it into a little glass, and I use a brush on that. I don't want to use. I don't want to take that brush, put it on bark, and dip it in here because what happens when you do that? Now you're bringing in debris, and if you could really kind of pollute the thing enough to where you'll have problems, particles in it. Okay, so now what I usually do is I let it set a little bit. So what I'll do is I'll let it set a little bit, and then I'll sand it. And if you see any weird spots in there, take care of them. Now, you got two different kinds of wood here. One's a hard one, one's a soft wood. So what's going to do, this one will suck up more than that one will, faster than this one will. And because of the density of the wood, it'll take a little bit longer. This one here is a little bit easier to deal with. And I could probably put 3 coats on this and I'll be okay. This one might be 4 or 5 because it's porous. And it's kind of like, okay, you know how you sweat. All right, the same way you sweat, you're opening your pores, right? When you're cold, you don't sweat, right? It's the same way that wood operates, same way. When it's humid, it soaks up, it'll soak up moisture. You ever take a moisture meter to wood, different times a year? Because I do that. I've had wood that I kiln dry back in the corner back here. And the one thing I can tell you is that you got to be really critical. If I'm going to do resin work, the wood has to be 5% or less of moisture in it. Because what happens is it turns white, flaky white. That's what the recommendations are from people I know do it, professionals. I always say, I think I made one bowl that actually turned out right, and I don't know what I did. Out of like 10, wait a minute. One of the biggest problems I've had is with resin is trying to get the moisture. And I'm in a basement. So there's a lot of moisture in here. I don't know what the humidity is. I don't have a humidifier, humidity. I don't have anything in here that can tell me. Humidistat? Well, whatever it is. I've got a thermometer, but I don't have a thermometer. Right now, I think it's 65 in here, I think. It's not too bad. In the winter, I have to put heaters in here because it's like my garage. The only reason I do it in the garage, don't do it in the garage, is it's really cold out there. I have to figure out a way to insulate that. I mean, the walls are insulated, but the doors push in from when it blows. It push in the garage doors, and my seals suck anyway. So, okay, we got that now, right? So what I'm going to do now, break this in half. I just wanted to dry it enough. Yeah, this is what I suspected. This one's going to be a real pain to get done because it's really soaking it up. And it gets sticky after a while. I like the wood grain in it. So, all right, so that'll be, I'm going to take this and move that over here. This one, it's a little bit different. Now the sheen in this will come out really good. Today, depending on how humid it is in here, I might put another coat on this. So I'm going to move these down here. Like I said, this one's going to be a problem child. I can see it. So that 55-gallon drum over there, that's my kiln. No, I have a timer on this. So oops. Okay, what the heck? So that works. And what I do with that's cheap. That's a cheap kiln. I always say if you get a chance to get one, get one. That thing's been around my place for years. So, all right. So now, what I'll do is I'll take this stuff. Now that I made a mess. So the other thing is, you see how this stuff leaks through, right? So I end up putting a piece of wood on my bench. So now what I'll do, always recommend is safety first. I've got a fire extinguisher over here, but I've also got this. And I put all the stuff that I use in there. And then what I do is I wrap it up in a plastic bag, one of those shopping bags or one of those plastic bags you get from stores. And then when the trash comes, I put it in there. Or I recommend you go to a site when they have those where you bring in all your stains and stuff. I recommend you do it there instead. But a lot of places don't have that, which is unfortunate. We're all worried about the sky, but we're not worried about the ground we stand on, which is crap. So anyway, I save these. These are good. That'll last me a couple more times until I poke a hole in it. Okay, so now we'll go over here. Okay, so here's the latest thing I'm working on. This is segmented a little bit. The problem is I don't know what I'm going to make this. I was going to make a little vase out of this. Just a little one, not a big deal. I was just going to taper it down in the middle and have a swing out. But I don't know if it's big enough. Let's see. Let's measure it and see. Don't know if any of you women out there know that. How big? Okay, so this is. But it looks like about 3 inches. I guess I could probably make it. It's about probably 3 inches, just a little over 3 inches. I guess I could make it into a candle holder. I could one of those Problem is 3-inch candles wouldn't fit on this because it's already at that. I need about 3 1/4. So I don't know. I can make a candelabra. Be Liberace. Anyway, your recommendations are always welcome. You know that. Anyway, I don't know. I'm still playing with this idea of being a vase. Just a small one for a couple of flowers. The only problem is I don't have anything that'll fit in there, I don't think. See, these are the glasses stuff that I put in there. Here's a little bit too wide. I can't really taper it. You know what I mean? So that won't work. So I had to go find, I know Science and Surplus place has these, what do you call those things in science class? The beakers, like the tall beakers. Well, that's what I need to put in here if I'm going to do narrow. That's the problem I'm having with making. I made a couple of vases bigger than this, and I could never find one of these that fit. That was the problem. I kind of balked at that. Let's say segmented. It's hard to find a branch that's 5 inches around because that's what you need. At least 4 inches to make something halfway decent. I mean, I could do it with my gourd. Let's see here. I could try it with this stuff. This might work. That would be close though. What do you think? That's got a weird look to it. This stuff is from Hawaii. It's a different piece of wood. I didn't bring monkey powder. Koa back this year. All right. Well, a little update. I'll be on here more often, probably almost every day. I don't mind it. I've got a lot of projects coming down, and I want to share them with you. So, and I do sell my stuff. But be forewarned, if I have to ship it to you, it's at least $20. If I do my own box, I can manage to get down to 10. So I have a bunch of boxes. I could get it down to 10. But so if you buy a more expensive bowl, just so you know, it's gonna cost you. Usually my bowls run between 25 and 60 or $70. I probably have a couple that are $100 or close to $100, but they're salad bowls and stuff. And I can make a deal with that if I had to. The problem with the salad balls is it takes me so long to make them, especially as big as they are. And you got to be really careful with this thing because there's no easy way of doing it. The bigger it is, the harder it is to do sometimes. So I always stick with certain sizes. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. Thanks for watching the Dutchman's Wood Shack, and I hope you guys have a great Monday.